Hello, and thank you for joining the Crown Institute's recorded practice series, Together for Wellness. This mindfulness practice, called the 3-minute breathing space, was led by Dr. Zindel Segal. Dr. Segal is a clinical psychologist and distinguished professor of psychology at the University of Toronto. His research examines the use of mindfulness meditation in promoting affect regulation skills in people suffering from depression and anxiety. An author of over 10 books and 100 scientific publications, Dr. Segal's latest publication, The Mindful Way Through Depression, is a guide for dealing with stress and achieving mood balance in everyday life. Please enjoy this practice.
The question is, what can mindfulness offer us to try and help with the uncertainty, the worry, the very natural ways in which the mind is grasping for solutions and needs to help assure us that there are ways in which we can stay safe and we can stay healthy, even if those are only ways of allowing us to answer the question for this week, because the situation changes so fluidly. And I think one of the things that other people have talked about is a conceptual way of understanding what mindfulness can offer us. But I think for all of us, the challenge is how to translate that into a moment of providing us with that relief, a place to stand when these thoughts or worries or concerns start to surge and we find ourselves very naturally carried away by them. And so from a very general conceptual place, I think a simple answer to that question is mindfulness suggests that there are 3 things that we can do. We can pause, we can note, and we can hold. And the pausing is a way of stepping outside of a stream of automatic pilot reactivity towards worry, towards wanting to fix, towards needing certainty, towards stepping into 3 months from now rather than being present. The noting aspect is simply acknowledging in a space that we've been able to create what is showing up in the mind, what thoughts are present, how we feel in our bodies, what emotions are here. And then the holding piece, and this is really important, is to bring a sense of kindness, which is really a way of saying to reduce judgment and harshness about what we find compared to what we think ought to be there, or how we ought to be holding all of this, or whether any of this should be showing up in us. And trying to provide a little bit of a separation between what we feel and judgments about us in terms of who we are and ourselves. So that's a great story, but how do you actually bring it into your life when you need it? And I think this is where the specific practice I'd like to guide us through today could be very helpful. So this is a practice, and some of you I think I've already had the pleasure of practicing with you. This is a 3-minute breathing space, and it's something that we've developed in mindfulness-based cognitive therapy to try and miniaturize, if you will, the flow of attention and the flow of practice that is available to us if we practice in a more formal way over extended periods of time, into something that could be deployed wherever you find yourself, at work, at home, in the middle of doing numbers of different things. And inside the 3-minute breathing space, as we'll have a chance to find, is the capacity for us to pause. We very directly do that through our bodies and setting ourselves up in a way that allows us to sit and to be aware, to note, because we are paying attention to what shows up in the mind, and then to hold in a wider field of awareness, ways of being with what shows up and not needing anything else to happen to that so that we don't have any agenda towards it. And this is really being offered in the sense of everything else that you're doing to look after yourselves. See if there's some value here and feel free to place it alongside of that list. So if you feel willing and if you feel ready, let's just start by using the body to allow ourselves to sit in a way that can bring up in the body and through the body an attitude of alertness, an attitude of wakefulness. And even if you just look at the little thumbnails flashing across the top of your screen, you might notice people shifting and rearranging their posture and shifting into some way of sitting that lets themselves feel grounded and present. And just simply connecting with sitting, like just, all of the activity that's going on and what's coming up later for you and all that, just at this point, focusing in on sitting. If you feel comfortable, allowing your eyes to close. And if not, maybe just finding a spot 4 or 5 feet in front of you and just holding it with a soft and steady gaze. And allowing the mind to register sitting, settling, arriving. And when you're ready, coming into the sensations of sitting, just as you find them, feeling perhaps the pressure in the soles of the feet as they press into the floor, or the chair supporting the weight of the body, the back of the chair perhaps touching up against the spine with the neck and head balanced. And when you're ready, perhaps looking into the mind, asking yourself, what is my experience right now? What thoughts are here? What feelings are present? What bodily sensations are making themselves known? And then, as best you can, simply allowing all of these elements to be here, watching them from one moment to the next without the need to alter or change them in any way. And now, seeing if you can let go of the contents of mind and bringing your attention to a single pointed focus on the breath of the belly and feeling breathing in this part of the body with the belly rising and lifting as you breathe in and falling back as you breathe out, seeing whether you can stay with this gentle rhythm of rising on the in-breath, falling on the out-breath, moment by moment, and breath by breath. And now seeing if you can expand your attention around the belly, allowing the attention to radiate outwards from the belly into the whole body. And so the whole body sitting and the whole body breathing and feeling the body from the crown of the head to the soles of the feet. One whole breath, one whole body. If you're willing, allowing the attention to move even further outwards beyond the body, to feeling the air caressing the body or the clothes lying on the body, and even further outwards into the space of the room itself, sitting and holding all of this as best you can in a wider and more open awareness. And then when you're ready, just allowing your eyes to open.